Starts right now.
And we begin this newscast with late-breaking news out of the nation's capital. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's attempt to get the Supreme Court to overturn Joe Biden's election victory in 4 battleground states rejected by the United States Supreme Court just moments ago. For the second time this week, the highest court in the land declining to get involved in the outcome in the 2020 presidential election. The justices turned away an appeal from Pennsylvania Republicans on Tuesday. The Electoral College meets Monday to formally elect Biden as the next president. The coronavirus continues to tighten its grip on the justice system in Bexar County. The latest example, jury selection has been suspended in the capital murder trial of Otis McCain, the man accused in the execution-style slaying of a veteran police detective. Paul Venema explains what prompted the judge to abruptly halt those proceedings.
With the COVID-19 numbers climbing daily and the holiday season upon us, the judge in the capital murder trial of accused cop killer Otis McCain has ordered jury selection temporarily stopped.
I'm going to evaluate the situation every week. I know that we're not going to proceed with the selection or resume with the selection before the end of the holidays.
When you began this jury selection process, you were strictly adhering to the COVID protocol. What's changed?
Because of the spikes that we've seen, there's been an indication by the lawyers that they're starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable.
The lawyers tell me that they're not the only ones who are feeling uncomfortable.
You could see that concern developing among the jury panel as we were bringing them in.
McCain, Fuchs' client, allegedly walked up to Detective Ben Marconi over 4 years ago and shot him to death at point-blank range as he sat in his patrol car outside police headquarters. The state is seeking the death penalty. Given that, Fuchs agrees with the judge's decision.
What he wants, ultimately, in our case, is that the justice system and the jury decide our client's fate, that it not be decided by a virus.
Paul Venema, KSAT 12 News.
Murdered over a phone. Those who knew 24-year-old Giovanna Barrera say she had a bright future ahead. But on Wednesday, she was fatally shot. Investigators say it was all over her cell phone. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says Barrera was sitting in her car in her driveway on Terraza and Glenmont, trying to take off her roller skates when 28-year-old Daniel Calvillo approached her and demanded her phone. Salazar says Barrera threw the phone under her seat and Calvillo shot her, then got away in a car driven by 20-year-old Kiana Jones. Today, those at the cosmetology school that Barrera attended couldn't make sense of the deadly violence. They remembered her for her ambition.
Her educator, Monique, for the first 6 weeks, just, really was touched by how much she put into learning and wanting to make sure that she got it right, because she knew that this was what she was going to do the rest of her life.
As for the suspects, Salazar believes they never even met Barrera before. They were later caught during a traffic stop. Calvillo facing charges including capital murder. Jones may also face capital murder charges. And new at 6, San Marcos police arresting a man they say pulled a gun on another man who had confronted him about walking in his yard. 20-year-old Jason Jordan Trevino facing several charges, included aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. According to police, they were called to the 200 block of Armstrong yesterday. The alleged victim told them Trevino pointed a gun at him. When police found Trevino, they say he ran away. While they were searching for him, police got a tip that said Trevino had stolen a bicycle. The victim got his bike back on his own and told officers Trevino ran toward the bus station. Police finally caught him in a nearby wooded area. New at 6, a family holding out hope tonight that their son, a sailor stationed aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt, is rescued after he went overboard yesterday. While they await updates from the United States Navy, they do have a lot of questions. The biggest, how could this have happened?
7:30 in the morning, somebody spotted him in the water.
Kelly Goolsby says he doesn't know much else regarding the disappearance of his son, Ethan. The 20-year-old sailor went overboard off the USS Theodore Roosevelt Thursday off the coast of Southern California. Goolsby says the Navy says it's conducting an exhaustive search for his son.
They obviously don't know where he fell from, right? They saw him in the water. So far, they haven't seen they don't know where he fell from or didn't have an eyewitness to that.
Goolsby says his son's job on the ship was in the magazine where the ammunition is stored. So he wonders what happened.
When's the last time someone physically saw him, right? Do they have any idea what deck he was on? If he was on the flight deck, why, right? His job wasn't on the flight deck. So those are the things we want to know. And hopefully we'll get those answers at some point.
Ethan, a graduate of Brandeis High School, was excited about exploring the world with the Navy, his father says. This is his son's first major deployment, but not before surprising his parents.
He had actually told us he wasn't going to be able to take leave. And then he showed up knocking on the door. He actually called me and said, "Hey, I'm in San Diego. I'm super bored. What are you doing?" And I said, "Watching TV." And he goes, "Can I watch with you?" And he knocked on the door. And I thought he was in California, but he'd flown here by surprise.
Now the hardest part, just waiting for an update.
I appreciate that the Navy said they will search until they've exhausted all avenues. But again, like any parent, I guess you have questions.
A son overboard. Goolsby says once his son was spotted, a flotation device was thrown to him with a smoke canister to mark the spot. But he adds the Navy says the search will last until the commanders decide it's over. Time saver traffic right now on this Friday evening, 72 degrees outside. This is 281 at Loop 410 West. It's the flyover there as you see people getting on 410 West heading towards the North Star Mall area. Maybe you can see a big traffic backup both on the flyover and on 410 itself, which you can kind of get a glimpse at down below. But again, this is very slow going at this intersection right now. And new at 6, will there be enough toys to help all the tots this year? That was a concern this morning when KSAT checked in with the annual holiday toy drive to help struggling families. The Toys for Tots is still tallying how many area children it can help this year. Its coordinator expects there will be more than last year's 9,000. As Garrett Berger tells us, the pandemic has caused problems with gathering donations.
It's a busy day at the Toys for Tots warehouse, preparing for the first pickup this weekend. Each toy and the gesture behind it carrying a big weight.
There's a lot of families who have broken down and cried in front of us because, how we're helping them.
It's also a somewhat anxious day.
This may look like a lot of toys, but the Toys for Tots coordinator says at this point in time, they normally have toys. They're taking up a lot more space.
Our donations looked like they were kind of cut in half from last year.
The big issue is the events where Toys for Tots get a good number of donations are down more than half from last year. Many canceled or never planned at all because of the pandemic.
A lot of big companies will put on their Christmas parties. Their thing will be, come to the Christmas party as an employee and bring a toy with you.
But without the toys from those events coming in, Jaramillo is concerned about how many they'll have to hand out.
If we have to cut it down to 1 toy per child, then we will do that if we have to. But, we're hoping to still continue with the 2 toys per child.
On the bright side, Jaramillo says some of those companies that had to cancel their events are donating money instead. And there are more registered drop-off locations than last year, which were still delivering their hauls this morning. And at least one of them, which had an event and a drop-off location, came bearing hopeful news.
Oh, I would say at least double. We just had such an outpouring. I guess because of COVID, the need is just, it's all over the news. You see it.
So it makes me feel a lot better, knowing that they did double this year. That's a great problem to have. Hopefully everybody has that same problem.
One way or another, Toys for Tots will complete its mission. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Now, you heard the concern that they'd only be able to give 1 toy per kid this year. Well, we just checked back in a short while ago with the coordinator. He says with the toys and monetary donations that have been coming in since our trip there this morning, things are now looking good for kids to get 2 toys each. It's great news. They are still accepting donations, though. Drop off a new unwrapped toy directly at the Toys for Tots warehouse this weekend or next. The hours and address are on your screen right now. As we take a live look outside, 72 degrees, another beautiful sunset. I don't know if you saw the traffic at 410 and 281. A lot of people probably out doing a little Christmas shopping tonight.
Yeah, the clock's ticking, let's put it that way, and many people realizing that on this Friday evening. Luckily, the weather's agreeable, at least for the Friday evening commute. Earlier today, it was damp out there. Even despite all the dampness and the issues on the roads, only 1/100 of an inch of rain at the airport to show for it. We started the day at 59, then made it to 75. A beautiful evening out there right now. Gorgeous sunset that we saw at about 5:30 p.m. 72 degrees at the moment, dew point of 58. Dew point's going to drop off a little bit tonight, and I do anticipate the chance of some fog as that happens and the temperatures fall as well. Temperatures right now, 60s to near 70, 72 at the airport, 71 Helotes, otherwise 67 Bulverde and Rio Medina right now at 68 degrees. So the sky's clearing out. The wind's going to be out of the west-northwest at 3 to 8 miles per hour. So just a gentle breeze. Temperatures falling into the upper 50s by 10 p.m. A little bit of patchy fog, I think, briefly overnight tonight, but I don't expect it to really be an issue. Then tomorrow on your Saturday, we start the day sunny and clear, 47 in the morning, and then rising to 70 degrees for the afternoon. So a sunny day with low humidity and very pleasant temperatures. It's into Sunday where we see a few changes. Sunday morning in particular, we are expecting another shot at rain. Kind of like what we had today, a little bit of dampness, and we could use all we could get because the aquifer down again today. It's more than 8 feet below the historical monthly average. And mold, the only allergen reported now, low at 230. We're going to talk about that Sunday forecast, the changes we have then, and if we're going to have good viewing of the Geminid meteor shower, which peaks Sunday night, coming right up.
All this week, we've been able to see and hear the concern, both the mayor and the county judge. Yesterday, there were nearly 1,400 or more than 1,400 new cases. And so we'll see today what happens as we're just seconds away from the briefing at City Hall. Let's go live there now.
By Veronica Soto, who is our director of the city's Neighborhood and Housing Services Department. And this is our COVID-19 update for the San Antonio community. Tonight, we're reporting 1,090 new cases of COVID-19, which brings our total to 92,484 since the pandemic began. Our new 7-day moving average remains very high, now at 1,030. Sadly, we do have 6 new deaths to report tonight, 3 white females in their 80s and 90s, 2 Hispanic males in their 70s, and 1 Hispanic female in her 50s. We also want to make sure that we remember those who we've lost in the last few weeks. It's been too many. And please keep their friends and families and survivors in your thoughts and in your prayers this evening. Tonight, we also have 716 patients in the hospital, which is up 58 from yesterday. 7 more patients from El Paso went home, and we have 7 remaining, but we did have 79 new admissions for COVID-19 over the last 24 hours. There are 223 people in the ICU and 115 on ventilators tonight. We also want to give a special thanks to some pillars of our health community here, specifically Bill Henrich of the UT Health Science Center San Antonio, George Hernandez of the University Health System, and Dean Alexander of Christus Santa Rosa. Each of these hospital leaders have agreed to help us with vaccinating Tier 1 healthcare workers, such as our 911 EMS agencies and Southwest General Hospital. As you know, we want to make sure that it doesn't matter where our healthcare workers are in our community, that they have access to those vaccines as soon as they're available. And we thank our hospital workers and CEOs for that access. Let me turn it over now to Judge Wolf.
Well, as you know, I watch the hospital numbers more than I do any other in trying to get some kind of handle on where we're going and referring back to some previous data. We did have 58 up today, but we were down yesterday, but we're averaging about, I think in the last 4 or 5 days, we're averaging about 30 more people in the hospital, and certainly not going in the right direction. But I was looking back some of our historical data. On June the 17th, we had 212 people in the hospital, and within 10 days, we got up to 730, which is a little bit more than we've got right now. If you go back and look at where we were in October the 22nd, we had 209, and now we have 716. It took us 50 days to go from 209 to 716 as opposed to 10 days back in the summer. So we are growing, but at a much lower rate. It was 5 times quicker back in the summer. So hopefully everybody will be careful and do what we've always said we ought to do, which is face mask or face covering and social distancing and sanitation. We need to really, really hold together because we're still in some dangerous time as we get close to Christmas. Out at the field hospital out on the Bexar County grounds, I answered a question the other day, what we were doing out there, and I mentioned the IVs that we're giving now by Eli Lilly. We were having about 5 to 8 people a day. Now we're getting about 20 a day. So we not only give the IV for that, but we do for Regeneron also. Now it takes about an hour to do that, and then an hour to stay there and see if you're okay. But this is physicians. You have to have a physician refer you to this, and we have nurses and paramedics there. But it's for people that really, want to try to stay out of that hospital, and they're really having some bad symptoms. So you need to talk to your doctor, and if that's in the cards, we are doing that. And you'd have to get a prescription or for them to set the time for you to go there. So let's try to hang in there and try to get through these next 30 days, difficult days.
Great. Thank you, Judge. I want to take an opportunity to shout out to Angel and his classmates over at Poe Middle School. Angel has been watching our briefings every day, Judge, since this pandemic began. And he takes the data that we give and he provides it to the rest of his classmates so that they can remain safe. So thank you, Angel, for your work and all your classmates there at Poe Middle School. I want to also thank your teachers, Ms. Arias, Ms. Perez, and Ms. Palmore. They are raising some great leaders over there at Poe Middle School. Thank you for your
All right, shout out to Poe Middle School, one of the students there who's keeping his fellow students and teachers updated on what's happening. The numbers today, 1,090, our 7-day 24-hour average is still at 1,030, which is way higher than we'd like it to be. 6 new deaths reported in the last 24 hours, 1,418 total. Hospitalizations are already up by about 58 in the last 24 hours, 716 people in the hospital. Just 9% of available hospital beds right now reported. Interesting stat from County Judge Nelson Wolf that you heard there talking about the COVID positive infusion center, which is at Freeman Coliseum, where they give people infusions in hospital beds that are set up there so they can keep people out of the hospital system. They were having about 4 or 5 patients a day that they were seeing there. Right now, they're up to 20 patients a day they're seeing at Freeman Coliseum. They give them an infusion of drugs, kind of a cocktail that Eli Lilly provides. Regeneron, I believe, and Remdesivir, also some of the things that they are using there to try to help some of the patients. 20 a day, up from 4 or 5 a day they were seeing just a couple of weeks ago. All right, let's switch over to weather right now and talk about the cold front that could be ruining part of our weekend, maybe, or enhancing part of our weekend, however you feel about cold weather, Adam?
It's all perspective, right? I think temperatures in general are going to be fairly consistent here through the weekend. It's the end of the weekend where they really start to fall off, and you'll really notice the changes for the second part of Sunday. Let's get right to it. Our weather pattern, we had that dampness this morning. Not much real accumulation to show for it, just a few hundredths of an inch here and there. That system is moving out of here. What we're looking at now is the Pacific Northwest. This little swirl in the upper level flow, that's our next disturbance. That's going to be the one that spins up a new cold front and drops it into town by Sunday. All right, so let's take a look at our futurecast. I like how it handles all this. Tomorrow, sunny day, beautiful. Bright sunshine, comfortable, low humidity, high temperature near 70. Once we get into Saturday night and early Sunday morning, the clouds creep back in, and Sunday is going to be a lot like what we had today. Morning dampness on Sunday, so some drizzle, a few light passing showers Sunday morning. See this here, Futurecast indicating that through about 10, 11 a.m. And then into the afternoon, we start to clear out. And by Sunday evening, this is behind a front, the wind is really going to pick up and you're going to notice it as well. Also, ideal viewing for the Geminid meteor shower because the sky is going to clear out. The annual Geminid meteor shower peaks this year Sunday night. Go outside after dark with the kids, after sunset, get away from as many lights as possible, and if preferably outside the city. Look at the darkest part of the sky. Allow about 20 minutes for your eyes to adjust to the darkness and adapt. And if you're in an ideal spot at the right time overnight, away from city lights, you could see 1 to 2 meteors per minute. That would be the maximum. I would not anticipate that, but that's for some of you in the outskirts that want to be up around 2 a.m. on Monday morning. Anyway, the weekend, tomorrow sunny and 70. By Sunday, that morning dampness leading to afternoon sunshine and a gusty afternoon as well. I mean, we're talking some wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour Sunday evening and afternoon. So prepare your inflatables properly. Let's put it that way. And then into Monday morning, back down into the 30s, and then only 50s for a high on Monday, despite a lot of sunshine. And next week, a lot cooler than what we had this week.
Have I mentioned my wife is anti-inflatable?
Oh, yes, you have.
I mentioned that?
And
okay.
Is that why you're pro-inflatable?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a yin and yang.
It is.
There. All right. Larry has sports up next.
Tonight, the BGC road trip will take us to Victoria, where the Holy Cross Knights will face Houston Cypress Christian in the TAPS Division III state semifinals. Knights star quarterback Jordan Battles will sit out the first half because he was penalized for targeting last week in the Knights' quarterfinal victory. Holy Cross and Cy Christian is certainly a heavyweight showdown.
Both of us were number 1 seeds. We were a number 1 seed out of our district, and they were the district champ out of their district. So I think it's, two very good football teams that are going to have to play hard. We're going to have to execute and not make mistakes. They are extraordinarily patient. I've never seen a football team that just kind of waits on you and waits on you and waits on you to make your mistake. And those guys are extremely disciplined, extremely well coached. We're going to have to play very well this week.
Holy Cross is 6-2 this season, outscoring their first 2 playoff opponents 100-22. This is the last ride for the Holy Cross seniors, and they want to make it count.
It's really special to get out there with my team. Been playing with them since my freshman year, and just have a lot of great bonds with them that are growing stronger, getting ready to do something special.
It's very special. This is one of my last few games, and I'm giving it all I got.
Holy Cross and Cy Christian will kick tonight at 7 in Victoria. Highlights on the Night Beat. This afternoon at Taft High School, members of that community gave the football team a nice send-off before heading to Eagle Pass, where tonight at 7 the Raiders will play the Eagles in a Class 6A Division II by-district matchup. Parents, the band, and the Spirit teams were all on hand to wish Coach Stade and the guys the best of luck. This is the Raiders' first playoff appearance since 2007. San Antonio boxer Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez has his sights set on a world title opportunity very soon, and tomorrow night in Las Vegas he'll take another step in that direction when he faces former world title challenger Saul Juarez in a junior flyweight bout. Bam is 14-0 with 8 knockouts, and he's won both of his fights this year and is hoping to end 2020 with a 3-0 record. But is he disappointed that his latest success is happening in empty arenas since fans are not allowed to be there due to COVID-19 risks?
Honestly, I'm already kind of used to that because, in my previous fights, I'm usually one of the first fights on the card, on the bigger card. So there's usually no crowd there. So I'm pretty much used to it, But, I mean, having fans, it does make a difference. It makes the knockouts, the hits, everything more exciting. But, it's something I'm used to already. So it's no big deal to me.
Bam says there will be around 100 family and friends allowed inside the MGM tomorrow, which is the most that have been allowed to watch a fight in Las Vegas recently. And how about this? The WBA ordered an immediate rematch between super flyweight champ Joshua Franco and Andrew Maloney. Josh won the first bout, while the second one ended in a controversial no decision. They have 30 days to negotiate the terms. Joshua is Bam's older brother. Now, pranks can be funny, like this one. Bandera head boys basketball coach Brady Keene says he left his car keys on his desk in the coach's office far too long and ended up with 2 racks of basketballs in his car, 36 total basketballs. Head golf coach Bobby Lalane and Beth Miller, the principal secretary, pulled off the prank. Coach Keene is already plotting his revenge.
I like that. Right? I was like, those are either basketballs or pumpkins.
Basketballs.
Basketballs.
Luckily
easier
for him.
to
Yes.
Clean up. Thanks, Larry. We'll see you tonight at 10. We'll be right back with Eric Cooper from the San Antonio Food Bank. I like to say in KSAT Q&A, we separate the fact from the fiction out there, the fact from the fear. Well, it is a fact that there are a lot of people in our communities that are hurting. And a man who knows that all too well is with the San Antonio Food Bank. The president, Eric Cooper, joins us now live. Eric, thank you for joining us. When we talk about the need, can it be overstated? I mean, how many people have you served so far just in 2020?
Yeah, so Steve, thank you. We've actually served about 625,000 unique individuals since COVID-19. At the onset back in March, there's roughly 900,000 food insecure people within South Texas that we're trying to serve, which has averaged that 120,000 people a week. And boy, it's a lot of need right now throughout South Texas.
Is your biggest fear the people who are out there that don't know about the San Antonio Food Bank or don't know how to get the help that you guys provide?
Absolutely. I think there's so many families that might have applied for unemployment and didn't get it. They applied for public benefits and maybe didn't get it, and they're discouraged, they're hopeless, they're overwhelmed. We want those families to know that we're here for them, that we have adequate food supply. They need to reach out. The best way is to go to our website at safoodbank.org. You can register, and then you'll see the different locations. There's a big distribution coming up on Tuesday at the AT&T Center. Lots of great companies are going to be showing love to families. And so if you are in need, please go to our website and register. You need to pre-register. Don't just show up, but we want to make sure no one goes hungry, and the best way to do that is to go to our website and register for a distribution.
Do you think pride is a barrier that people need to get past?
Yeah, Steve, I mean, obviously when people are asking for help, sometimes they associate that they did something wrong or there's a mistake and there's some shame there. There's no shame in asking for help. And, I think San Antonio is such an amazing, hardworking, humble community. They don't want to ask for help, but we're here. We're going to get through this together. We love our city. It's painful to see families struggling, and we want to make sure that they're nourished.
Yeah, let's leave that food bank website up there because that's the best way to get help, safoodbank.org. Eric Cooper with us. Are you noticing a different level of desperation than maybe you saw early on in the pandemic, or has it kind of just been the same thing that you're hearing?
No, Steve, so many of these benefits that were helping to shorten the line, they concluded back in August. And so, families that are way behind on their rent, they're even farther behind, or they're struggling to make their utility payments or their car payments. And there's a lot of stress. When I think of COVID-19, it's taken jobs, it's taken savings, it's taken lives, and now we're in the holidays, and it's trying to take those holidays. And so we want to make sure families know that we're going to take care of them. They're going to be able to meet their needs for food. It's just bridging this gap between this chaos associated with the loss and getting back to an economy where folks are able to go back to work and support themselves and their families.
And you're doing more than just it's called the San Antonio Food Bank, but you're serving more than just San Antonio.
That's right, Steve. I think it's a 16 county service territory that the San Antonio Food Bank serves, so a good chunk of Southwest Texas. We have over 500 partners that help us in this work, in addition to those pop-up distributions that people have seen on TV. But, it's more than just food. We actually help families apply for public benefits. We've been partnering with the Workforce Solutions Alamo on getting people trained and into jobs. It's a holistic approach that tries to move people to self-sufficiency, but without some type of public aid to kind of balance the loss in the economy, it's going to be tough. And so I hope that folks in Washington are aware of what's happening here in San Antonio, so to speak, on Main Street, because so many families are really hurting, and the stimulus support will go a long way in easing that suffering.
I know this community well enough, and so do you, Eric, that they love to help. They love to band together and help their neighbors, help complete strangers. If there's somebody at home right now that's wondering, how can I help the San Antonio Food Bank, what would you say to them?
Well, just thank you, number one. And, it's the same website, safoodbank.org, for those that need help and for those that want to give help. If you've got time on your hands and feel comfortable volunteering, all of our protocols are CDC certified and it's safe. we could really use help at our distributions, in our kitchens, at the warehouse, and on our farm and garden. If you are able to make a financial contribution, $1 equals 7 meals. You all at KSAT have helped raise a lot of funds for us, and that's how we're bridging the gap. So if you can, please support us, and we'll get through this crisis and make sure no one goes hungry, and that these holidays nourish more than body, but spirit and soul for those that are struggling right now in our community.
You know, I think I say this every time we have you on, Eric, but thank you so much for what you do. Please let the people at the food bank who work side by side with you know we appreciate what they are doing. This isn't happening in a vacuum, and it's not happening in the shadows.
Well, Steve, you know, this is a great city, so we're privileged to be a great food bank. And again, we don't do this alone. It's together. But thank you, and God bless you. Have a great weekend.
You too. Eric Cooper with the San Antonio Food Bank. We'll be right back. The Eiffel Tower closed until further notice. The tourist attraction is supposed to reopen along with much of France on December 16th. That's not happening. According to its Twitter account, yes, it has one, the Eiffel Tower is putting that off indefinitely because high coronavirus infection numbers forcing the French government to delay the easing of restrictions. I'm thinking about the Eiffel Tower tweeting things out.
Gets you choked up, huh?
Yeah.
We're at that moment in history.
I think we have Myra coming up live, and it's just, you know, looking forward to that.
We do miss Myra, yeah, so we'll be chatting with her in a little bit. Look at that clear sky. That's what we're going to have on Sunday night when the Geminid meteor shower peaks. I'm going to talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. But first, outside right now, temperatures are comfortable. It's a pleasant evening, really nothing to worry about out there weather-wise. And temperatures will really just fall gradually through the 60s, then down into the 50s. So we're 72 now. Sky's going to clear out a bit. We'll be 60 degrees by 9 p.m., 56 at 11 p.m. And really not much of a breeze. Things change a little bit as we get into Sunday. That's when another cold front's going to hit us. We'll talk about that, the meteor shower, and what happens behind that front coming right up.
You might have noticed my co-anchor Myra Arthur hasn't been on television a lot, but she's got a good reason. She is quarantining at home after a couple of positive COVID tests in her household. She was not one of those positive tests. She's playing it safe, sticking to the guidelines. And just because she's home, it doesn't mean she hasn't been working. She's been hard at work on KSAT Explains, the newest episode streaming right now. Myra joins us live to talk all about it. Hi, Myra.
Hi, Steve. I miss you guys. Hopefully I'll be back soon. Yeah, we've still been working remotely. It's very weird. We shot everything for next week's KSAT Explains episode today, right here from home. Wild, but 2020. So here we are. Everyone is doing well in my house too, by the way. So very thankful for that. Let's talk about the episode that's out right now of KSAT Explains. It's all about the effort to save our stages. That's the name of a piece of legislation that could provide some much needed help for live performance venues. If you think about it, they have been the first to close throughout this pandemic, so often the last to fully reopen. People aren't going to theaters. People aren't crowding together to see a live concert. So these businesses certainly are hurting. So we're taking a look at how they're surviving so far in our community and what it would mean if we lost them throughout this entire ordeal.
You know, we're talking about places from the Tobin Center that we just saw a video of all the way to, you know, the Lonesome Rose, which is just down the street from KSAT. I mean, what are the owners telling you about the situations they're in right now?
It is really tough for them. It is so very tough. And they're doing what they can. I mean, they're trying to make money where they can. A lot of them have been allowed to reopen, as you know, but with a lot of restrictions in terms of how long they can stay open, where they have people in their bars, if they have to have them outside with masks. You know, at certain tables, but it's certainly not the same. They're making the best of it, as you can see from this video here. This is an event that happened at Lonesome Rose a couple of weeks ago, but they know that they need this federal aid. So they're really pushing for that. And they're just reminding people what their impact is, not only, of course, to have fun, go out, see a live show, but also the economic impact that they provide our community, because there's research that shows most people, when they go out to one of these shows, they're not just buying the price of a ticket, paying for the price of ticket, or they're usually paying for parking, or they may go out to dinner and support a restaurant. So there is a ripple effect involved with one of these performances, and also a cultural impact as well, and a big draw for jobs, for example, to come to a city. We have to have things that draw people who want to live here, not only work here, but live here and enjoy being here. So we take a look at all those different aspects in this episode.
And then you have the artists themselves all wrapped into one. Save Our Stages. It's the latest episode of KSAT Explains. Myra Arthur and the KSAT Explains team. It is available right now on all streaming devices. All right, let's talk about the weather right now and talk about the fact we got a little rain today, but it wasn't a lot. We need more.
Yeah, it was nuisance rain is all it was, and it caused wet roadways, but only gave us a few hundredths of an inch. That's it. We're going to do that all over again on Sunday. Tomorrow's going to be a bright and sunny day and actually pretty comfortable and beautiful. Let's take a look at those rainfall accumulations, and these are the estimates via Doppler radar. On the order of a few hundredths of an inch, and that's what I confirmed with area rain gauges. Around Canyon Lake, about 600ths of an inch, and that's about the highest I could find. You get elsewhere in Texas, especially East Texas, and well, they tallied up even more rainfall. They had better rain and more sustained and heavier rainfall, which is now pushing eastward, crossing the state line into Louisiana and basically the Mississippi River. That system's moving out of here, okay? So it's going to set the stage for a sunny day tomorrow. What we're watching is this swirl in the Pacific Northwest. That's the next one that's going to help develop a cold front and move into town on Sunday. So Sunday is going to be a transitional day where, kind of like today, it's going to be very different from the morning into the evening. So let's take a look at our futurecast. Tomorrow, a sunny day, nothing to worry about, beautiful day, bright sunshine, low humidity, and comfortable temperatures. It's Saturday night into Sunday morning. The clouds fill back in, and then we start to see some areas of light rain. Drizzle Sunday morning, pockets of light showers scattered across South Texas. But unfortunately, I think for most of us, it's going to be the same. A few hundredths of an inch here and there. So wet roadways on Sunday morning. But once we get into Sunday afternoon, that sky starts clearing. Cold front moves in, sky clears. And for Sunday afternoon and evening, we'll have clear skies, a lot of sunshine. And that's good because that sets the stage for good viewing of the Geminid meteor shower. Peak Sunday night. It's an annual meteor shower, but it should be decent viewing this Sunday night. Here are the main tips. Get away from lights, all lights, city lights. If you can, get out of town. If you live out of town, good, you're in better position. Just look at the darkest part of the sky. Allow your eyes at least 20 minutes to adjust to the darkness. And if you're in an ideal spot, out in the country somewhere at the right time at night, you could see 1 to 2 meteors per hour max. Most of us aren't going to see that, but that's the high-end potential in an ideal spot away from light pollution. All right, temperatures now 60s to near 70, but 56 in Kerrville. Meanwhile, 71 Del Rio, 65 Pleasanton. Tomorrow we start the day at 47, make it up to 70, light north wind at 5 to 10. Sunday morning, 50 degrees and damp to start the day, then sunny and windy. Want to point out the wind Sunday afternoon. Second half of Sunday is going to be very gusty. You've been warned with your inflatables when they inflate Sunday evening when the timer goes off. Get ready for them to be swaying and maybe even come loose. We'll have gusts of 40 miles per hour Sunday evening, and so dress appropriately if you're viewing the Geminids. Into next week, noticeably cooler as well. We'll actually have a series of fronts, so 50s for highs several days next week, including Monday.
Getting close to freezing in some of those mornings.
You noticed.
Thank you, Adam. In case you missed it, coming up next.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. It is December 11th. Happy Hanukkah to you.
New this morning, Bexar County Sheriff's deputies have a woman in custody after an overnight chase. Bexar County Sheriff investigators say the woman had alcohol and weapons inside of the car. They say she is now facing charges of reckless driving and evading arrest.
And first at 5, San Antonio police making a policy change when it comes to releasing body cam footage. The department will be able to release portions of that video or 911 calls within that 60-day period or explain why that footage or audio will not be released.
The goal is to hit every corner of the country within just 48 hours after the FDA authorizes emergency use for the vaccine.
We should be seeing the authorization of this first vaccine. We will work with Pfizer to get that shipped out, and so
we could be seeing people getting vaccinated Monday, Tuesday of next week.
The second time this week, the highest court in the land declining to get involved in the outcome in the 2020 presidential election. The justices turned away an appeal from Pennsylvania Republicans on Tuesday. The Electoral College meets Monday to formally elect Biden as the next president.
Santa and his elves rappelling down the side of the hospital with big waves and smiles. Organizers who helped Santa today say it's not only a way to keep a safe distance from the kids, but it reminds them that the joy of the holiday season can still happen.
Things are now looking good for kids to get 2 toys each. It's great news. They are still accepting donations, though. Drop off a new unwrapped toy directly at the Toys for Tots warehouse this weekend or next.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by CPS Energy.
Happy holidays from your friends, neighbors, and families from CPS Energy. And special thanks to first responders, active duty military, and veterans. Have a wonderful holiday.
We'll see you right back here on the Night Beat at 10. Have a great night.